The pledge by Ms. Samuels.
I'll bow our head. Dear Lord, just thank you for allowing us to be here today. I want you to forgive us in our many sins and our failures and our faults and our shortcomings. Just be with us as we go forward with the business of the parish, and place your hand upon us to lead us and guide us, direct us, and make decisions that you would have us to make with our citizens, our residents, and our leaders in our community. Thank you. Most for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross to save from our sins. Precious holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Place your hand over your heart and repeat the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda additions, Commissioner Smith.
I'd like to move that Mrs. Marilyn Smith be elected to the Caddo Fire District number 6. And I'd like to have that passed to the floor immediately.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion? Not sure if we're in the voting mode or not. I don't think Vita's not here, so that passes.
Excuse me, did we move to put that on the agenda?
On the agenda, right.
Okay,
Exactly.
Okay, that was...
I have one also.
Commissioner McCullough.
The appointment that was on the last commission meeting's agenda, Ms. Talent. I'm not sure if it was with the water district or the sewer district. I did talk with those people. I'd like to have her name added. I've spoken with Rita Samuels already. I'd like to have her name added to Thursday's agenda to be appointed.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion? Please vote. Passes. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow visitor Jimmy Kubion to speak before the commission.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion? Mr. Kubion. Please state your name and address for the record and give us your brief comment.
Thank you very much. Jimmy Kubion. My physical address is 9950 Mansfield Road, Keithville. My mailing address is 3315 Chamont Circle in Shreveport, zip code 71118. I want to come before you today to just briefly express my concerns with regards to Commissioner Welsh's order. It's a draft that will be reviewed at the State Museum on May the 21st at 6:30. This is a draft that basically has been written after knowledge of the parish draft, and it is written, in my view, in my opinion, to take away the authority of the local governments with regards to what I'm going to refer to basically as nuisance ordinances and complaints related to dust, sound, and there's many other issues that needs to be looked at that we basically find ourselves wondering whether the commission has the authority to do all of this, or whether we have some of the authority to do that. So that is not my concern as a layman. My concern is that basically the constituents that elect you basically look for you to help them when there are issues in their community, and there will be issues in their community because wells are drilled 24 hours a day, and they don't stop, and so issues talking about hours that they can bring stuff to the job site, and all that, I cannot find where, drilling is going to be drilling, and that's the way we do it in Parish. We drill 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that is a concern that people will have. They're going to call you, and they'll call you at 3 o'clock in the morning when they can't sleep because they feel like you ought to be awake because they got a problem, and then you have to find some way to deal with it. And I don't see that this order is to do anything except to take your authority away from from you as elected representatives. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kuvion.
Thank you.
Move to go back in a regular session
Second.
without exception. Righty, let's see, where are we? Administration report.
Madam President, good afternoon, Commissioners. We have a couple of things for you today. We have Ms. Susie Morgan here today as our federal lobbyist, and she's going to give us an update on the various initiatives we work on at the federal level. At this time, I'd like to have Ms. Morgan come forward, please, and kind of give you a little update on where we are on various issues we're dealing with.
Well, thank you for letting me appear before you today. I always like to come to speak to you and let you know firsthand from me what I've been doing and just what our status is. First, I want to say that we had a very successful trip at the end of January to Washington for Washington Mardi Gras, and I want to thank the commissioners who made that trip with me. It's very important that we do have commissioners go see our delegation. It helps them put a face with a name, and it helps them know that there are elected officials in Caddo Parish who think these are important projects, and I appreciate, and they're very enthusiastic this year and spoke very eloquently in favor of the project, so I appreciate that support. I went back to Washington at the end of March and went to see Senator Landry, Senator Vitter, and Congressman Fleming, and also Congressman Alexander from Monroe, and went over did not see the senators and congressmen, but I spoke with the staff, which is just as important as the stage we were then, because the staff were putting together the forms and their funding requests that each member of our delegation would submit. So, and that gives me a chance to talk to them and be sure that I understand all the information they want and that we have a good flow of information. And again, we just, as you know, each year we need to go see them several times to make sure that they know that we're going to keep coming back and that we're going to keep asking about our request and what the status is. If you'll remember, when we started this process, we identified the priorities that the parish has in terms of its needs that might be eligible for federal funding. And from the beginning, we've identified as water issues as your number one priority. And just to give you a little background, I'll remind you that in 2007, we were able to get $2 million authorized in the Water Resources Development Act for a water study for Caddo Parish. Well, that was good. It was money that was going to go through the Corps of Engineers and then to NLCOG and then to the parish. As we began looking at that money and figuring out how we could use it, we realized that before we could access that money, the Corps of Engineers had to do a feasibility study. And that's what we were trying to get done anyway, was basically a feasibility study. What are the needs? What's the cost? Does it make sense? What's the best way to do it? Well, in that process, we learned that the Corps had already started a feasibility study for the city of Shreveport dealing with Cross Lake as a water supply. And we began cooperating more with the city of Shreveport through our joint funding request. We realized we were all trying to do the same thing. We said, let's work together. So we were able to get the Corps of Engineers to expand the scope of that Cross Lake water supply study to include Caddo Parish also, not just the city of Shreveport and Cross Lake, but the entire parish, and also Bossier Parish, excluding Bossier City because it is already doing some expansion to meet its needs. So that's ongoing. The Corps is now engaged in doing the feasibility study for this on this larger scope. The future for us, if the Corps does conclude that there is a favorable cost benefit, which we think there will be, then we can move forward on trying to access the money that's already been authorized for the parish, the $2 million, and also $20 million that was authorized for the city to actually do that work. Now that's down the road quite a ways, and once you get a feasibility study by the Corps of Engineers, it doesn't automatically mean the Corps will fund your project, but it's the first step. So we at least have started down that road. And I know that Mr. Wilson is working on a report, a more complete report to you about all the things we're doing with respect to water issues. But I wanted to let you know that that's what we're doing from my standpoint. Because we got included in the Corps' larger scope of study, we have asked our delegation to support the Corps' request for funding for that study. And all they needed this year was $100,000 to continue work. They already had a carryover of $274,000, so we have supported the Corps' request for another $100,000 for fiscal year 2010, and I believe that will be funded. That will allow the Corps to keep working and to finish the feasibility study for the whole parish. Now, we have 3 other funding requests, and if you'll, those of you who have heard this before, we've had these same funding priorities for several years, and that's not coincidence. It was a plan, because you can't go and keep change. You can't submit 15 different requests and have them change every year, because you never develop credibility and consistency with the delegation. It's like they don't know what you want if you go with something different every year. So we've identified priorities and we've stuck with them, and we're making progress. I have hope for this year that we'll get some of these funded. The other 3 that have been on our list and still are, one is the Southern Loop completion, which is a transportation project. The second is giant salvinia eradication in Caddo Lake, and the third is for a Blanchard Road underpass. Now, we submitted those requests for fiscal year 2010 funding, so you would not get this money if the funding is approved until next year. We've submitted those. We got calls back asking for additional information on all those projects, which is a good sign. I think that there's a lot of interest in the giant salvinia project, which is important because Caddo Lake is a water supply for people in the northern part of the parish, and it's also, of course, fishing and wildlife recreation, so it's a quality of life issue on a lot of different fronts. And I thought there's a lot of interest in that project, and I have some hope that that will get funded this year. From here on out, what happens? Well, first, the House goes through the process where what we call mark up a bill, and that means working on the different bills, different appropriations bills, and including any directed projects, such as the one we're requesting, sometimes known by the name earmark. So the House goes through the markup process first, and we'll keep a close eye on that to see if any of our projects are included. Once the House is through, then the Senate will mark up its bills. If those bills are different, for example, the Transportation Appropriations Bill, then they go to conference. And that's the point at which we ask our senators and congressmen to cooperate with each other and support each other's requests. That will happen sometime September, October. Sometimes the House and the Senate have to agree, and then it goes back to each chamber to get a final vote, and then the President has to sign it into law. Sometimes this doesn't even happen during the year before the end of the year. We think it will this year because it's President Obama's first year in office, and we're hopeful that the appropriations bills will actually be passed in 2009. Then that will allow us to start the process, doing all the things we need to do with the federal agencies to get money during 2010. When we started this process, I know that I told you it wasn't a quick process. It wasn't easy, and I'm sure all of you would say, you've convinced us it's not quick and it's not easy, because it hasn't been quick, and I apologize for that. But we have certainly gained credibility and visibility with our delegation. They know who we are. They know what our projects are and what our priorities are, and they know we're going to keep coming back year after year. And I believe that's the key to success, and I appreciate all the support and that you've shown me, and all the kindnesses also. And I'll answer any questions if I can.
Commissioner Dominique?
Just a couple of questions. Ms. Morgan, thanks for coming here today. I guess the first question is, on the southern loop, the Giant Sylvania and the Blanchard Road overpass, you said we wouldn't know whether those funds would be given until 2010, is that correct?
Well, we'll know, I hope, at the end of this year, at 2009, but we will get the funding if it's approved in 2010.
Okay. And on the water issue, how long do we know before the Corps will finish the feasibility study? Do we have a clue on
I
that?
think that probably another year.
Okay, so if that's still sometime down the road, and we have $2 million, it's already been approved and allocated. I mean,
It's been authorized. Some things have to be authorized before they're appropriated. This Corps of Engineers money fits in that category. So it's been authorized, which is good. So it's sitting there, and once we get this feasibility study, we'll try to get it appropriated.
I think that's it.
Commissioner Epperson?
I may have missed it. I left up on your initial, starting your presentation. On the stimulus package, anything that you know that we are going to get?
I have not been intimately involved in that. I've talked to Woody and to others on the administration about it, but I've not been very much involved. I know that they're working very hard, and it's a difficult process, and you're not alone. I think every city and parish and town that's trying to get stimulus money is probably having the same issues that you are. Of course, I know you all put together a very nice package of ideas for stimulus projects. And when you did that, of course, it was before all these rules came out about how it had to be spent and what all the requirements were. And so it's kind of a moving target.
But you got one of those initial proposals?
Yes.
That was part of your...
Yeah.
Okay, so as soon as you found out what the stipulations were, the change in the rules, you informed us?
Well, and that's not really what I do. I do more of the appropriations process. I have talked to people in the administration and offered any insight I have, but that's not really what I do.
That's special. That's not just your normal duty.
That's right.
That's outside.
That's right. But if there's something I can do in particular, I will. But they're doing a great job, and they're really on top of it.
Who, up in Washington?
No, these guys. They know what's going on. No, I can't say that.
That's it.
Okay, thank you. I see no other commissioner. Susie, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's nice to see all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Susie. Kind of appreciate it.
Commissioners, the next thing we'd like to do is kind of give you a little update on the legislative report. Address any concerns you may have with respect to bills going through the House and Senate at this time at the state level.
I asked Woody to put me on y'all's agenda every work session just to give you an update, but as y'all know that have seen these reports that come daily from Ms. Rose, there's not a whole lot of things that are of interest to us that have happened last week. So I'll just ask if anybody has any constructive suggestions about the information that you're getting, let me know if you like it, if you have problems with format or something like that. But otherwise, we'll just keep communicating with you that way, and we'll get up to date as things develop.
Commissioner Pearson?
We're gonna, I think when we started going through those things with you, I think we said that we just wasn't gonna take a position on the road forward idea.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Just leave it alone. And I guess that's, as you think about it, we really wouldn't want to be the ones to tell somebody they could or could not, because that puts us in the same position we would be in when we were making a determination on whether or not we would roll forward or not. I'd given that a lot of thought. While I'm not, I have issues with, bodies that are, boards that are selected, making that kind of determination. I wouldn't want to be the one to determine whether or not they can, because it puts us right back in the same situation. But I don't know how. I guess it's an either or. Either they maintain their their autonomy to roll forward, or it's done by local government?
For the appointed bodies, either they maintain their authority to roll forward the taxes, or else state law would be changed and their millages could not be rolled forward without a vote of the people. I mean, that seems...
Or without a vote of the people?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's the right thing to do, is to be quiet on that one.
He said all that to say, I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, I do have a little issues with it, but I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna hiss up like this.
Right. I see the other commissioners.
I have.
Push one more time, Commissioner McCullough.
Okay.
Commissioner McCullough.
Mr. Wilson, in regards to, I'm almost sure now when I inquired about the allowance program in regards to the stimulus package, the $100 billion that was being provided for the allowance program, were you able to contact that guy to see how that money could be appropriated, from Miami? I tell you, it was an allowance program in reference to the stimulus package. It was $100 billion. I said $1 billion, but it was $100 billion. If I'm not mistaken, there's a May 26th deadline somewhere. Were you able to find out anything about those monies?
Yes, ma'am. That was a loan. It turned out to be a loan.
It turned out to be a loan?
Yes,
So it wasn't a part of the stimulus package?
Yes, it is. Similar to what the school board just received last week. The school board received a $17 million 0% loan. Stimulus money they had to pay back.
Oh, okay.
And they, of course, you probably heard that they're going to go out and try to leverage that and put a $33 million bond out to come up with $51 million to do the upgrade of the schools. So that was a loan.
All right, thank you.
The last item I have, ma'am, on about the 6th of May, Commissioner Matthew Lynn asked us to contact the DNR concerning the incident that occurred out in Keithville with the cows. So we wrote Commissioner Welch a letter, and he sent a reply today in the mail to us by email. So I put a copy to each one of your stations that you can read his response. Virtually what he's saying is that he's waiting on some reports coming in from the state veterinarian and also the DAQ as to what happened before he develops an opinion about what could be done. So the note is self-explanatory. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to let me know, and we'll try to raise those points with him when he comes here this Thursday. But I know he's coming to talk about one issue, but this is still our issue too. We wanted to make sure that the citizens in the Keithville area or any area in the parish are safeguarded by not having another incident of that type happen again. And that's what we're concerned about. Okay, just as a reminder, the legislative day is 28th of this month. I know you're probably making arrangements to travel. Just want to let you know that's still on the calendar for this month. That's all I have, ma'am. Just listening. I don't want to have anything from me.
Commissioner Epperson.
Okay, let's see. Are we communication reports yet, or administration?
Administration report.
Okay, I want to go case report.
Okay. Communication reports. Commissioner Epperson.
I see Ms. Frazier has given us a proposal of an ordinance for our code enforcement, so all of the committee members as well as the commissioners, I think you have a copy. If you look over it and see if there's anything we may want to add or change. Ma'am? Oh, just the committee? Okay. Right. Okay. But I just want to bring this to the committee then, make sure that you look over them. And if you got any changes, and I would like to tentatively set a code enforcement meeting for the upcoming work session in May, the last work session in May at 2:00 p.m.
I think that's going to be in June.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is last in June. It's the first work session in June.
Hello, how you doing?
2:00 p.m.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Is it committee report?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Commissioner Smith.
The Natural Resource Committee met today, and basically the discussion was all of the oil and gas activities going on, more particularly Commissioner Welch's visit here in town Thursday. We encourage all of you to come and be there and hear the concerns. The committee did vote for Mr. Grubbs to be our primary speaker to address our issues Thursday night, so ask you to please try to be available for the time you will have it in your neighborhood. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I wanted to tell y'all about an award that the Caddo Parish Commission got on last week. It's called the Pride Award, Proud Residents Involved in Developing Our Economy, that was given by the Convention and Tourist Bureau. And this is our beautiful vase. It has Caddo Parish Commission on it. I'm not going to hold it long because I'm so afraid I'm going to break it. But
Margarita glass. It's the Kool-Aid jar.
not for beer, so we should have
The margarita.
What'd you give it to me for if you don't want to break?
We're gonna. I sent it home with Mr. Wilson because I was so afraid I was gonna break it. But it was a very nice award, and thank you, Commissioner Pearson, for working with us real good on the Bassmaster Classic. It's still reverberating throughout the community, the impact that it had, and so they just wanted to say thank you to the Caddo Parish Commission for the part that we played in that. So we'll have this back Thursday to take a picture with it when John is back, and we're all doozied up.
Keep him out of it.
Come on, they don't want to see it.
See it later.
Okay. All righty, any other communiques and reports? Okay, next item, Mrs. Spears.
Okay, I'll add just a reminder that at your first meeting in June, you're required to select the official journal for the year. So that's coming up. Have no old business on the agenda. New business, that time to set our millages. This ordinance 4882 sets your general purpose and special purpose millages.
Ma'am, for Thursday. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner...
Question.
I'm sorry, I see. Who was the second? Commissioner Jenkins. On the discussion, Commissioner Thibodeau.
On these millages, are these the same as for 2008?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
How much more property tax did we collect on in 2009 for 2008 than we did in 2008? Words, how much more money have we collected just in property taxes?
I don't know off the top of my head. Related to 2008, everything we've collected in 2009 is related to 2008.
I understand what we did in 2008 accounted for the taxes that we received the first part of 2009.
That's correct.
And I recall when we did this last year, I asked the question if, since the tax assessor was reassessing property, were we backing these back enough so that it was basically going to be an even, the assessment goes up, but the millage went down so that there wouldn't be, so it wouldn't be much of a difference. And I believe I was told that if there were any difference parish-wide, it's going to be about 6% up. Well, in my district, it probably averaged 25%. And you're talking about some large numbers of dollars. And what I'd like to know is if I'd like to know, before we vote on this next time, how much more property tax we collected this year based on the 2008 millage, so that we may be able to roll back some more to keep it even.
Amen.
I heard more complaints than it was unbelievable, some of the numbers that I got from some people, and how much their property taxes had gone up in 1 year. That's incredible. And that was because of their assessment. And I know we're not the only ones that levy millages, but I think we need to look at it, and if it's possible
to roll back these millages some more, that may be something we want to look at.
You know, just to respond to you, Commissioner Thibodeau, the assessment that was recommended by the tax assessor, and the essence that we took last summer was actually a roll back, not a roll forward. But we hadn't in the last several years did any roll forward with respect to taxes. We just collect the minimum rates that would give us the same amount of money coming in.
Well, I don't want us to collect any less money than we did in the prior year.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think we need to collect any more money at this point in time, for next year, in other words.
But also, be mindful with construction, that number fluctuates as well.
But most of this is property tax, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, coming onto the roads.
Any additional revenue that we might have received is strictly related to new construction.
All right.
Being that we're not the only government that levies a millage, and some other agencies, I understand, did not roll back, we're not the only ones that change their property taxes. I mean, we're actually a small player when you think about the school board and other entities. So I could give you the information as far as in total, but I won't be able to tell you that old property stayed the same or not. It's going to be we're going to have an increase in revenue, but it's going to be new construction. It's not going to be property that was already on the rolls. Those should have stayed status quo.
Do we have new numbers in the assessment increase? How much taxes that were on the roll increased?
Yes, I can give you, I don't know that
Right.
off the top of my head, but I can bring you on Thursday the increase in the assessment between 08 and 09.
Not including new construction.
No, it's going to have, I can call the assessor's office and see if they can break it out for me.
Email that
It's
to
gonna
me
include
before the
total.
meeting, I appreciate it. So that's something we may want to take a look at. That's all.
Commissioner Cox?
I remember last year, as all this stuff was coming forward with Haynesville Shell and the budget and the kind of shape that we were in, a lot of us had stood by and said that we were going to look at the roll forward in the assessments of the tax assessor. Tax assessor is going to raise his bar now, and he's going to raise it. So there was a conversation, and I think we need to get back into it as time goes on this year, to do like Mr. Thibodeau said. We owe it to our constituents that if the parish is in pretty good shape and we're looking, where we can bring it down to the point where they're not assessed anymore, we need to do that. Simply because the parish is in the shape that they can do that. And that's one way to give back to the constituents that own homes and businesses. So, thank you.
Commissioner Pearson?
I'm not against that, but every year it costs us more to do business. I mean, prices go up. I mean, sales taxes are basically, other than the bond issues, but sales taxes are basically what we get to do business. And so I would urge us to just take a close look at it. I'm not saying we need to roll forward anything one way or the other, but I'm just saying that we do business. We give our people raises every year. And that's how we don't get sales taxes inside city limits. The only thing we get is property taxes. So, I mean, that's how we do business on a day-to-day basis. So I would I know we don't want to just tax folks unnecessarily, but I think they want us to do business. It costs more to grade a road. It costs more to do all those things because gasoline is higher, equipment is higher. I mean, that's basically the dollars that we get to use to buy equipment and to pay people. So just the thought. I mean, I'm not against holding it steady, but I just want to make sure that we get the best advice on how we can do that and still do business. I mean, that's important to me as well. Thank you.
I have two comments. If the assessor raises the taxes, we can always hold a tea party. And two, I don't really have a problem with rolling back if we get credit for what we do. Because it always seems that when the commission rolls back, other people get credit for it, so. Next, let's vote. Any other discussion? Vote. This is to move to Thursday.
Okay.
And that passes. Next item.
Okay, the next millage is the bond issue millage, 4883.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner Everson. Any discussion? Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Ordinance 4884 sets your timberlands assessment.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, second by Commissioner Pearson. Any discussion? Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Ordinance 4885 assesses railways and other public service corporations.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Pearson. Any discussion? Please vote. Okay, that passes. Next item.
Ordinance 4886 sells adjudicated property.
Moved by Commissioner Cox, second by Commissioner Pearson. Any discussion? Please vote. Passes. Next item.
Ordinance 4887 amends your code of ordinances in your no truck zone schedule to add Shane Lane, Spring Ridge Drive, and Victoria Lane.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion? Commissioner Pearson?
Yeah, I need to know, how restrictive would this be now? And this is just on Shane Lane, that's a public road?
Yes, it is. It is a public road.
All three of them are public roads.
All three are public roads. Now, by restricting those trucks, and I hadn't read the back of it, what size truck, if somebody wanted to put 5 yards of river sand in their yard, would that truck be restricted from going down this road?
You send them to my house. They won't put
You don't want to put that Johnson grass in the yard?
Mr. Gross probably can answer that question, but this is Spring Ridge Estates, Coach, so.
Okay, I understand. But if they wanted to, you know,
I
I
don't
mean,
think it stops normal, what we would call normal delivery.
Commissioner, this adds 3 roads to an existing section that has at least one other road all the way in it. And someone asked me this question earlier at a committee meeting, and I don't have a definitive answer that I will by Thursday. But I know the intention is that it not address, that it would not prohibit the kind of truck you're talking about, or a FedEx truck, or a USPS truck, or something like that. But I need to look at the chapter a little bit more closely to give you a definitive answer. And if it takes an amendment to clarify it, I'll get an amendment.
I just wanted to clarify so that the people will know. I mean, if someone had 5 yards of that river sand, which is as heavy as any of those other trucks, if you're talking about weight on the road, and somebody wanted to build a garden or build another house down there or do something, would that truck under this ordinance be restricted? That's all, now, if it wouldn't, then they need to know. I don't need to know. I certainly need to know, but then they need to know because they're going to call you and say, there's a big old truck down here tearing up my road, got full of dirt. And what you meant was something different. And I'm sure you did, and I support that. But I just want to make sure that what we're doing makes sense. Because this is something that we're putting out there that's going to go further than just the next 6, 7, 8 years that we're going to be around. So everybody needs to understand just what they're talking about. And that's all. That's all my only concern. If you can straighten that up for me, I'll vote to move it to Thursday. I'm not
I can't do it right this second, but I will.
Okay.
Build this thing up.
Commissioner Jenkins?
Thank you, Madam President. I think our parish attorney may have addressed my concern. That is, just bring some more, I support moving it to Thursday. I'm supportive of what you're attempting to do. Just maybe bring the existing ordinance that's being amended so that we can see exactly how it reads. Yes, sir. Thank you, Madam President.
No more discussion, let's vote. Push one more time, Commissioner McCullough. Okay, thank you. That passes. Next item.
Resolution 22 asks the state to handle our lease of mineral interest as requested by Classic Petroleum.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion? Please vote. Okay, that passes. Next item.
Resolution 23 supports NACO presidential appointment application for Commissioners Lynch, Baker, and Lynn.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Baker. Any discussion? Please vote. Push one more time, Commissioner Jenkins.
Not sure if I want to push.
That's they got on there, so we go and press push.
Okay, next item.
Resolution 24 supports establishment of Project Clean Slate.
Move to Thursday. Moved by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Everson. Any discussion? Commissioner Thibodeau?
Do we have a copy of that?
Yes, it's in the, one is on there.
Okay, thank you.
Were you finished, Commissioner Thibodeau? Or you need a few minutes?
No, that's fine, go ahead.
All right, please vote. That passes. Next item.
Authorize the administrator to execute a professional services contract for technical assistance relative to American Recovery and Reinvestment Act.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Jenkins. Any discussion? Please vote. Okay, Commissioner Thibodeau is registered. I think you hit it too late before.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Next item.
Authorize Commissioner travel for the 2009 large urban county caucus fly-in. Washington.
Moved by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Baker. Any discussion? Please vote. One more time, Commissioner Thibodeau.
Had a question.
Okay.
This isn't the annual meeting, is it? This is,
No, this is the fly-in for the large urban county caucus. Did you get my email and the mail-out with the
Yeah, what-
information?
okay.
That passes. Next item.
Question. What's the deal with all with the covers on the deals? They falling off. Didn't we just get this new?
Yes, sir, we got this service call on warranty. You were buckling up?
Yes, man.
We need some super glue?
Yeah, we need some super glue.
We'll get it.
Okay. New business has been added. Commissioner Smith? Your appointment.
Appointment for Marilyn Smith, the Fire District 7.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by the chair, to appoint Marilyn Smith. We need more candidates of this
You're right.
caliber.
For those of you that don't, she's the wife of Assistant Police Chief Wayne Smith.
Yeah, okay.
This is out of sight. Please vote.
I like him. He's a good
That passes. Commissioner McCullough?
Yes, I'd like to move for Mrs. Mary K. Talent to be replaced by Mr. J.T. Campbell on the Lakeview Waterworks District, effective immediately.
Moved by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Jenkins. Any discussion?
Point of information,
Ms. Talent is to replace,
Mr. J.D. Campbell
yes.
on the board.
You said the other way around.
Okay, all right.
Please vote. Next is just the consent agenda for Thursday. If I get my screen back, I'll see if anyone has anything else before we adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
We have a meeting after the meeting?
Oh, my